So, tools you're going to need according to the instructions: a square, Phillips and a posi screwdrivers. Also you're going to want a bradawl, it says, pencil, tape measure, and you're going to want a level. And it says in the instructions a 7mm spanner. My 7mm spanner is in the Rally toolkit for the Mazda, aka shit bag, and I've got a 7mm socket and a ratchet. I've got all the bits laid out that come with it. First instructions are: fit this bracket to this assembly. Now on mine this came attached already to this large frame. Now to get it off, you just got to line the wheels, which are one end or another. Let me turn it over. There we are. You align the wheels with your holes and it just flicks out at the bottom. It shows you actually in instructions 2 how to put this back on. So take this off and you've got to put this on this end. According to the picture, these hooks are pointing away, so this is the end. 2 screws you want are number 25, and if you look they're really short length, and they're a posi number 2. Now it shows you using screw holes at 2 and 3. So there's holes already there for it, and they're threaded. Just see if there's much play in these. Really not a lot of play there, so I'll just do them up. So next step is put the frame in, and it shows you braddling the holes and then screwing the screws in. Now me personally, I'm going to use an impact driver and just screw them straight in. There's 9 26mm screws and they're posis. 362 I think it was, is to the front of the bracket, so it's the front foot of the bracket. This is the next component to go in. The first set of holes are 14mm. The front of this frame here lines up with the floor of the cupboard, so realistically you shouldn't be able to get that wrong, and providing all your components are the same. Of note here is the second hole in. It's not used, nor the 4 at the end. Guide bracket goes in on the side, and it has got dimensions. Well, that hole is actually 20mm from that edge, so again, like that bottom panel, if this is alongside the edge of the cabinet, you should be good to go. So I'm just going to mount it in there, put a level on it, screw it in. Okay, so the next operation looks like it's putting in the hinge unit, which goes in the bottom, and by the looks of it, you've got to assemble these bits here onto the arm first. So let's do that. So the instructions show it being this the top, so that's got to drop in from the top. The large brass spacer washer, and the screw, which is a Phillips screw. Right, just make sure I get that tight. Don't go need ballistic on these, you don't need to, it's only a small screw. Just to make sure it's firm. So at least my bradawl's going to get some use. So there's that. The Allen key they provide with the cap head, which goes on there. So that goes on there at the back. And sorry, that needs to line up with that. So doing this cack-handed. That's tight. And then phosphorus bronze bush, spacer and screw, and I'm going to do them off camera. Now I've put this frame in, and it's slightly misleading this. I put it in at a slight angle. This picture is a bit deceiving. It gives you like a straight ahead position. It almost says like you should put it in like that, but as you can see down there, you've got things going on down there. Now it just sits there up through that hole, and it sits on the bottom one, so there's nothing required to get it out. But when you put it in, make sure that pin is in the back of the slot, and we've now got to line that up with two of the screws that are on here. There's two long ones just down the bottom, right, like so. And the next item is the bracket goes on here, goes on there, lines up with them two screws. Okay, so I didn't record doing this bracket. The bracket's almost self-aligning once you get those two screws done up. I would just nip them very gently and make sure that it all works. So that's them tight. That works nicely. So it looks like the next step is to fit the soft close unit. So this looks to mount onto the other three screws which are above the pin, the guide pin. Okay, so this bracket here that I've put on, you can probably put in before you put this frame in. And there's this unit as well. This is the soft close. Now you've got to make sure the soft close unit is open. You can do it by hand afterwards. Basically you just got to make sure it's pushed right up the channel, and you've got to make sure it hooks in the other side of this post before you put the screws in, because otherwise it just doesn't fit, it doesn't line up. The screws, I think the threads in these screws are all painted because they started on the first thread and then literally went tight, so they were a bit stiff going in, but you'll get the idea. What it should do is, as it goes up, if I can zoom in, mechanism grabs hold of that there and then pulls it in. And this is the next step, door. And we're mounting these brackets, which are these ones here. So got some measurements here. I'm going to measure these and double check them before I do anything else. Right, so I've got this screwed on. Now, two things to note. The screws in here, undo them a little bit, because they do actually protrude out of the back of this, so when you put it on, if it rocks at all and doesn't sit flush, those screws are sticking through too far, so just grab a screwdriver and just wind them out so it doesn't do that. Secondly, of course, I marked it on the centre ones. I don't know why, because you're only using two screws, the top two holes. But of course this side, where I'd had the original hole for the hinge, it was a little bit too close and I wasn't too happy about that, so I've put that in the centre. Right, I won't use the centre hole this time. I'll use the upper hole because it's further away. Because if you look at this one actually lines up with the door aperture hole. So yeah, so there you go, see it's rocking around on those screws, so just want to back them out. So that's it. Okie dokie, that's that hung then. Right, so what I'm going to do is you're going to just pinch these up, well not even pinch them up, just get them close first of all, because I want to be able to go up and down a bit. So, tightening it up and just slapping it off. Right, so now basically I'm just going to shut the door and see what the alignment is. And straight away, the first thing is the door needs to go that way. Undone that screw, undo that one, slide it over, and I'm going to go all the way. Pinched it up, I will try again. Yep, okay, so it's tight, so I need to come back about 2 mil maybe. Try that. Right, okay, that will be okay for the top. Now the bottom one. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is get this gap here, the same top and bottom on both sides of the door, and then I'll try and line up this gap here, top and bottom, and then I'll try and line up squareness of the door. Okay, next I think this height. Yeah, so basically what you do is you slacken these two off and you screw these up, and you can see this move. It's only a little bit. Shut your door, check your height with your other doors, and if it's all good to go, and you can tighten these up. Just tighten them up. Okay, so the next thing is this door is just slightly proud on this end. So I need to bring the door in a bit. Well, I can't bring it in a bit because this is done up tight. So all I can do is bring this other side out a bit, and hopefully it will let it close a bit more. It's possibly because it's got the rubber buffer stop on this end. So the hidden screw, the secret screw, I'm just going to screw this one up until it touches. That's tight. So undo this one. And what I do is I undo this a couple of turns, like so. I'll do the same to the bottom. Right, so what I was doing is here is you've got the two doors, and what I was trying to do is get them flush with one another, and that's worked perfectly first time actually. So they're nice and flush across there. Excellent, that is job done for that one. No, it's not. No, it's not yet. Right. Got to put the cages in next, which is no big deal I don't think. Well, here we are, put the baskets in. The last thing to do was actually put this stop in, and this stop goes on these holes here basically, and you just open up the door as far as you like, and you just place your stopper at the appropriate hole to stop the door going any further. Right, okay. We can see what's going to go on. Anyway, I think that's it for now. Showed you how to do everything except this. Ta-da!